Welcome to the Prodigal Blonde Unfiltered with me, Andrea Logan, where we share the good, the bad, and the beautiful. You guys, I am so excited for today's guest, dear friend of mine that shares her bold journey of cancer, of motherhood. She is a published author, film producer, actor, and content creator. She shares her TikTok videos, reels, and she's been able to inspire millions of people with her story and love for God. She is always pointing back to Jesus, which I love. She also started a female-focused Christian content ministry called Project Inspired in 2011, and she reaches over 500,000 people with her journey of hope, inspiration, and empowering other people to walk through and trust God. So Nicole Weider, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea. I'm so happy to be here.
You are such a supermodel and a ray of sunshine. I just love what you do. You are one of those golden, beautiful women that shine so bright for the Lord. And for the audience and the people that are listening, share a little bit about your story in Hollywood. We can relate. We have a lot in common. We met in LA.
Yes, we do.
You share some of the darkest moments, and also you share how God redeemed you and brought you and gave you this beautiful life. So take us back to those crazy times.
Yes, we have so much in common too. I love that. So I actually started modeling when I was pretty young, when I was about 6 years old. I always loved performing and being in front of the camera. I just thought it was fun. But as I got older, I'm naturally more on the curvy side, and I was never like stick skinny. And so my modeling agent in LA was like, even at like 13, 14 years old, they started marketing me as like sexy and like a sexy bombshell type vibe. And so when I was 16, I started doing like swimwear things. And then when I was 18, I did a Victoria's Secret commercial as the body double for one of the supermodels. And at first it was fun, but then I realized like I don't enjoy walking around in my bra and underwear on set and like having guys like tell me to stick my chest out, and like it just was like really uncomfortable. And then when I posed in Maxim magazine back when that was like a thing, but that, I don't really think too many people read Maxim magazine anymore. But I was in that magazine, and then my pictures were online, and I was so embarrassed. And I wasn't even a Christian yet, but I was so embarrassed of how the pictures looked. Like I wasn't naked, but like it was pretty risque. And I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like I have a lot of siblings. I have 6 siblings, and I didn't want any of my brothers and sisters to see the pictures. I didn't want my mom. And I'm like, I don't understand how women can do this for a living. Like I felt so embarrassed by the pictures, and I felt this internal like struggle, like God, it was God was telling me, don't be walking around showing off your body like in just a bra and underwear for money. Like it was like conviction, like I didn't really know what it was at the time. Yeah. So because I was, even when I was younger, I was a size 6, and like that wasn't skinny enough to do like the high fashion work. So I was just doing, the lingerie or swimwear. And I don't know, at a young age, I just started feeling convicted. Like, I don't want to be walking around in like no clothes. And I felt bad. And so I just wanted to get out of that.
The funny thing is the conviction that you had as a young girl, and you look at social media now, and it's essentially pornography that our eyes are looking at. And our world is so desensitized to think that that's normal. You open up Instagram and people are literally showing their half naked bodies for free.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
That's what's so concerning about raising children in today's day, because we don't understand the value of how sacred God made our bodies. And which is why you are such a strong voice for young women, because you are a supermodel. You're gorgeous.
I'm not a supermodel, but that's so sweet.
Well, listen, I tell my girls this. I say Jesus is the ultimate supermodel, right?
Yes.
Because he lives inside of us, and he was the only famous one to walk this earth. So everything else is just plus. But God blessed you with beauty, but he didn't just bless you with beauty. He blessed you with integrity and a heart of purity to want to help others. And so I value that. And you're also a woman's woman, which I don't know if you remember this. When I was going through a divorce, I was still at church with my ex. I had a couple of my kids with me at Calvary, and you tapped me on the shoulder. You were with Eric, and you introduced yourself and said that you were a fan. I think you had read my book or something, and I will never forget your kindness, because I feel like we've lost the heart to lead other women. And so I just wanted to thank you and acknowledge you for being a
Oh,
leader of mine and
yeah.
being so right, because I feel like today's day there's so much competition, and when we're walking with the Lord, there's no such thing, right?
Not at all. Not at all. I remember that. I remember that. That's such a great church. And you've done so many amazing things in your career in films and books and movies and what you've built. I think you're so inspiring and amazing. And I think it's great that you're doing this podcast too. I think it's amazing. So that's so sweet. I love that. Well, I love just supporting other women. I think we need that. And we all have our own gifts and callings, and we all have our own personalities. So there's room for all of us, and we're all different. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
I love that. And I love how you share how much you honor your husband and your family. You have a very traditional marriage and family, and how you met your
great.
husband, but you're also very open and honest with your struggles. So share with us, kind of what you've gone through personally, and also, bringing these gorgeous babies into the world. And if you don't mind sharing, it's a really powerful testimony of God's goodness.
Thank you so much. So I thought I struggled as a young person, in the modeling world, and I was partying and drinking too much. And I actually used to smoke cigarettes for 8 years, which is crazy. I don't tell a lot of people that, but I'm now that I'm older, I'm going to be 40 this year, which I'm like so excited about. I tell women, I'm like, please don't smoke. Like, it's not good for you. So I smoked for 8 years. So I lived a very wild life when I was younger, with too much alcohol, too much staying up late, partying, dating bad boys, dating celebrities, crazy.
Yep.
But and then I fell into depression when I was younger. I was like almost suicidal. It was really bad. I had clinical depression. I had to see doctors. I took medication that helped me. So I'm also very open about mental health. If
Mhm.
you are struggling, medication can definitely help you.
Yep.
Um, but I thought my hardest chapters were behind me. But then when I was 38, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is wild. Like, so I had no idea. And then I had to go through chemotherapy and radiation, and I had to do a surgery. And fighting cancer was just all consuming. Like, you can't think of it, almost anything. I mean, I thought of, my kids, and my kids kept me going. But when you're fighting cancer, you're in survival mode. Anyone watching who's fought cancer, it's like you're in survival mode. It's like cancer hangs over you like a black
Yes.
cloud. It's like it follows you. And I'm just now coming out of, like, so thankfully I'm in remission now, which is, praise God. And I had so many people praying for me. And that's another beautiful thing about social media is it was an outlet for me on
Mhm.
Instagram, talking about how hard it was in fighting cancer. And I was able to have a lot of people praying for me. And I really believe the prayers helped me come through that. And it was therapeutic for me as well to write about my journey. But yeah, fighting cancer is a beast. It's hard. It's tough.
So you going through that, and I mean, oh my gosh, when I remember seeing your post, in my heart, I was gutted. And shortly, and you were also, there was you had a baby on the way.
Yes,
So
crazy.
you
Yeah,
were, here you go, cancer, these three, you have these two babies and another baby on the way, and you were still open and honest, and you said, like, up and down, and there's fear and there's faith, right? Like, just because we're believers doesn't mean we don't have a fear of dying and leaving our babies. And
absolutely.
right? That's a very, and me as a single mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, I live for my kids. So
Yes.
it's like, it's that awareness. And what is it when do you remember a moment going through that? Because I know you've shared a lot, but when you were going through the first processes of it, you're in shock, you're in denial, like you said, you're just in survival mode, going through the treatments. Did you get overwhelmed with information? Because I know there's chemo, then there's the natural world, and then there's like all of these detoxes. Like, how were you able to, I have another girlfriend who had breast cancer as well. How were you able to navigate that journey with the family and babies while not losing your mind, like literally, because there's so, you know what I mean? There's so much.
Yeah. It was so hard. I have to say, it was my support system. My husband helped me a lot. My mom helped me a lot with the appointments, because navigating the doctor's appointments alone is so overwhelming, because it's hard to get a hold of them. It's hard to make appointments. So my mom and my husband helped me tremendously. And I would say, if anyone is watching this going through cancer, like, try to have someone who can help you, advocate for you. And I think my mom was that person for me, because this is crazy. The first doctor I saw misdiagnosed the type of breast cancer I had. So she thought, because it's a long story, but she thought I had what's called triple negative breast cancer. And she put me on a different regimen that thankfully I didn't start. And then my mom researched and was like, I want you to see a better doctor, Nicole. And I was willing to go with the first doctor, because I didn't want to deal with the doctor appointments. Right. And my mom was like, I don't think this woman is an expert. She's like, she's a blood disorder specialist, not a breast cancer specialist. I want you to see a better doctor. And so my mom was really helping me navigate that whole medical world. And so I saw a different doctor, and she retested me and was like, oh my gosh, you don't have that. You have what's called HER2 positive breast cancer. And so she put me, so I almost did the whole wrong chemo, which would have been disastrous, because it was also stronger. So I would have lost all my hair, which, you know, hair grows back, but still that's devastating for a woman. Any woman going through cancer treatments knows how hard that is. But it would have been targeting the wrong kind of cancer. So it's really scary. So if anyone watching has had a cancer diagnosis, like, I just say, get a second opinion, because sometimes doctors make mistakes. They make mistakes. They're human. So my mom helped me a lot. My husband helped me with the kids. Just being transparent. We have a nanny too. So my nanny is amazing. She's worked with us since the kids were babies. So I was able to have childcare when I had to go to the appointment. So that gave me peace of mind. So I did have people helping me. But it's yeah. And I would use ChatGPT sometimes to help me like figure out my test results. Cause like, it's good for deciphering test results. So yeah. So, and I prayed, and I was in a Bible study with other Christian women, which helped me. So I would say, just don't be afraid to ask for help if you're going through something, and people will show up for you. Yeah.
You seem like you barreled through that, like, because I know you had to do radiation and the pain with that, but did you go through a lot of nausea and vomiting, or was the chemo not as strong?
So looking back, I didn't go through a lot of nausea, surprisingly, because they gave me an anti-nausea like medicine with the chemo in the IV bag. And so they've kind of learned over the years to give that medicine to the people who are going through chemo. So I actually, surprisingly, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be going through chemo. I did lose some of my hair. I lost a lot on the top. I have these short pieces growing in now, because see, it's been a year. So I have all these short pieces growing in. So I did lose a good part of my hair. I would say I felt more fatigue than anything. But now looking back, I would say the harder part of it all was actually going through radiation, because radiation, I had to go, I had to do 33 sessions, which was a lot. And my skin was all burned, like all up in here. And so that, for me, radiation was harder than chemo, but everyone is different. It's like, everyone's cancer journey is super different. And I've learned that. So, yeah.
And you've been cancer free for how long?
I would say actually, you know what? About a year. Yeah, about a year.
Praise God.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. That is a huge praise report. And walking through that, having life flash before your eyes, right?
Yeah.
So I always think like, if somebody was like, okay, you're given 3 months to live, right? Like, has your perspective, because we know where we're going, right? We're both
Yeah.
Christians. We love Jesus. Like, we'll be with Jesus forever. But did your perspective on savoring, like, what changed going through life flashing before your eyes? Were you like, I'm going to go skydive, or I'm going to go do this? Like, did God change anything in your life that you're like, okay, I realize how fast life goes, right? Like, none of us are promised tomorrow. So we don't even know what tomorrow holds. Did God do something in your heart, or what did he do in your heart that you can maybe give others hope and encourage them if they're going through this fear of, I don't know if I'm going to live tomorrow? Or like, do you have any advice that you can give somebody?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I would say, ooh, I have to make this good because it's important. I would say this sounds simple, but one thing that well, okay, I used to care about more worldly things, but I would say, like, just honestly soaking up the memories and the times and the photos and videos with my kids and my family has been the most important for me. Like, I used to care more about like material things, or um just, I don't know, just superficial things maybe. And once I realized that I could die from this, I just was like, I want to spend all my time with my family and my loved
Yes.
ones. And of course I cared about that before, but now it's like, I don't know. It's like I just want to be with my family. But it's like also, I was more afraid of pursuing my dreams before. And now I'm not as scared also. So he gave me more of like a fearless attitude, like seize the day, because we are all not promised tomorrow. So it, because fighting cancer was so scary, now just living life and like pursuing my dreams or doing what I want to do is not as scary anymore. Like, I'm not scared of rejection, or like that fear went away, which is good, because I used to be afraid of that. So now I'm not afraid of, I'm like, I just want more opportunities, like to do things that I love, because I'm like, I fought cancer. That was scary. Now I'm like, I'm not afraid of anything like that. So I feel like that maybe would be the biggest change. I'm like, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of that. So it took away a lot of fears in a way, if that makes sense.
I love that. No, that's powerful, because
Mhm.
I think we all deal with the fear of rejection, but we're like,
Yeah.
who are we really afraid of?
Yeah.
And
We
you
shouldn't be
know,
afraid.
so
No.
stupid.
It's so
It's
stupid.
ridiculous.
We should, and I was so afraid before. And now I'm like, I could care less. I'm like, I'm not afraid of rejection. Like, because I fought cancer and that was scary. Like, so that,
Amen. And I've noticed that even in your content, in your social media, you posted a really good, was it a reel or a scene or something? Because you're jumping back into the acting world. You're a producer, right? You do all these things, but like you're just, and not to, just so you know, I mean, 40 is not, 39 is nothing. Like, you have another 30 years in this business,
thank
right?
you. Yes. Thank you.
But I have to hand it to you for being like, not caring. There's a freedom. You probably feel so free as a
That's,
woman. You're just
yeah.
right. It's just so
Yeah.
liberating to be like, here's what I'm doing. I'm seeking to do more roles in acting. You know that God will always get the glory. And I
Yeah.
love that about you, right? Because everybody has this like persona that they want to appear like, oh, I only work with A-listers, or I'm this perfect. And it's like, guys, we're all on a journey. And at the end of the day, I feel like the older I get, because I'll be 47 in a few months. No,
That's amazing. I want to ask you, how are your 40s? I'm excited to turn 40. How are your 40s? You look amazing.
thank you. It's 40s are liberating. You are so comfortable in your skin.
Love
And
that.
for me, I went through a divorce at 39, but I will say it was a really hard few years because of the pandemic and starting over. But I see what God has done, and the freedom that I've gotten to start from scratch
Yeah.
with him and rebuild my life. I mean, this is kind of side note, but I've dated one person in 5.5 years. I am not in the dating world. I've focused on my children are my everything. But as a woman in her 40s, now mid to late 40s, there's just like there's no fear of being stupid anymore. Like I think there's just a comfort in your skin and
Absolutely.
starting over from scratch. And essentially you've started over from scratch, right? Because when you go through something so traumatic as cancer, God almost erases the old identities. I feel like
Yeah.
he erased my identities with marriage and lost my, so it's like I started fresh as you're
Yeah.
starting. And so there's something exciting. And I don't even look at age anymore. I just don't care about age
I
because
love
to
that.
me, aging is a gift. Um,
Yes, it is. It's so true.
we're going to get wrinkles. I had 3 kids. I'm saggy. I
You
do my
look
best.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you do your best to
Yes.
show up. When I take care of myself, and I know you for the same, when you take care of yourself, you're only a better wife and mother. You're only a better friend. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to do that.
We
But
have to
anyway,
do that as women.
we have to. If anything, I've learned that I gave too much of myself to others and not enough to me. And so God really has had to train me on like, okay, you matter. You're worthy.
Yes.
So share with us what you're working on now and how your lifestyle. I know, side note, I want to mention this because I think it's important. Everybody is into the whole peptide stuff. And I remember, before I forget, you were sharing something about NAD. You thought that was a trigger,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't. I want to. I
It's
want to touch on that.
controversial. My thoughts are controversial about that. And um so I was really I love the longevity space. I do think it's important to learn as much as possible, but what I was doing prior to my diagnosis, I think it was a little bit reckless because I was seeing this Beverly Hills doctor and she gave me this like vial of peptides. It was called tesamorelin, and I was injecting myself with it. And I was also injecting myself with NAD from this peptide pharmacy. And I was injecting myself every day because she told me, she's like, you can do, it's fine. Like she never told me, oh, these things can cause cancer. They never tell you that. These doctors
Right.
never tell you that. I was completely healthy before I did all of that, but I was swayed by this Beverly Hills doctor who told me that it was good. And it's unfortunate because the NAD, I was feeling the benefits from it, like mental benefits, cognitive benefits. I felt more energetic. But what NAD does is it multiplies the cell turnover. And I think what it did is it made my cells go crazy because it by giving yourself by I'm not a scientist, so I'm not explaining it well, but the NAD, it gives you energy because it's like a lot of cellular action. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
it made the cells, it like multiplies the cells. You can look it up. I forgot exactly the mechanisms of how it works, but um, basically, I think I just had too much NAD. And I think that is what caused the breast cancer in me. And so eventually, I'm going to write a book and talk about my experience doing that so I can warn other people because I don't think it's safe to be messing around with that stuff, but it's hard because I did see the cognitive benefits of it, but they don't talk about the cancer risk, so, but again, I smoked for 8 years, so that also might have caused it. So I'll never really fully know, but just be careful with the longevity stuff, especially injecting yourself. I would say maybe just watch out for that stuff. But yeah.
Yes. No, thank you for sharing that. I think it's really important because our society is obsessed with
Yeah.
staying
Yeah.
young.
And I was.
And
I was.
yes, well, I think
I
we
was
all are.
obsessed.
I mean, exactly. Who knows? I'll probably get a facelift when I'm 55, like 50.
That's
I
what
don't care.
I probably will. I probably will. I love I've had like I want to maybe eventually do my yeah, like so I don't judge about beauty treatments, longevity, plastic surgery. Like I think more, if a woman wants to do something, more power to her. She should do it. Like I think that's all great. Just do your research, make sure you're seeing someone really good, the best in their field if you can afford it, and be careful with injecting yourself with that stuff because just look at the cancer risk, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that I mean, I've done Botox, fillers, all of that. I love all that stuff. I'm a beauty girl. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely know. I come from a place of I judge nobody, and if what makes you feel beautiful and you comfortable in your skin and you're better to serve others for God's kingdom, I'm like, you go, girl. Like, I mean,
Yes,
that's how I feel. Because when we feel strong and healthy and beautiful, we're only going to be serving God and others better. That's my take. That's my take.
absolutely. I agree with that. When you feel confident, you feel taken care of, you show up. I agree. You show up better for other people because you put in the me time. And it's hard, you know, especially if you're a mother with kids, you devote your life to them, but it's important to just take a little time each week. Get your hair done or get a massage, get a facial. Like it'll make you feel so rejuvenated. Yeah.
Yes, side note, so random, but for people that are against Botox, I just started following the face taping people. So just
Oh,
for
does
the
that work?
audience. Yeah,
Does
it's
that
like
work?
the frownies, and I stopped doing Botox. I just do a little bit of Xeomin because I'm like a safety cat. But
Yeah.
so there's always alternatives, right? So anyways,
Is
okay, we're going
Dysport better than I think what I get is Dysport. Is Dysport better than Botox or what's the best?
I think Dysport and Xeomin are the same. Okay, sorry,
Okay.
Diego. So they say it's a cleaner toxin.
Okay.
Like, does that
Okay.
honestly, does that even make sense? Does it I mean, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I have noticed the more, I want to try to, it's a dance, like it's a dance with the regimens and the lasers. And for me, I'm on a budget. So I do my research like for budget friendly things, right?
Yeah, that's good.
I love the microneedling, and there's
Yeah.
a couple lasers, but it's but I thank you for sharing the NAD stuff because there's a lot of friends that are my age or older that are obsessed with all of it, and I'm like, oof, just pray, be careful, do your research, right? Do your research.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
anyways, we need a whole beauty show, Diego. By the way,
Yeah, I know. I have a lot to share about that. Yeah, it's fun.
you
It's fun.
are. What I love about you, Nicole, is you are so feminine and you are such a girl's girl. And every time you show your closet, I'm like, ah.
It's
You have like
dangerous.
dream girl closet. But so
Thank you.
share with us now kind of where you're at today. Your little baby just turned 1. I love watching
Yes.
your
Thank
life on stories and producing, acting. What are you working on these days?
That's so yeah, it's crazy. Two of my kids, so I have three kids. Two of my kids have the same birthday. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So my
Wow.
daughter turned 5 and my son turned 1. So yeah, I'm just in full mom mode with these two toddlers, and then my older son is gonna be 12 soon. But yeah, I'm just auditioning for different projects. It's been a little slow, so I wish I could say that I'm working on something right now, but I'm kind of not. I'm kind of picky about what I work on, but um I'm just now coming through fighting cancer like actively, because like it just ended. Radiation ended a couple months ago, so I'm just now getting back into like more of the creative world, which is fun for me. And I'm like, oh, finally, I don't have to just only focus on fighting cancer. So I want to make my own content, maybe make my own film, maybe do something creative because I love that stuff. I'm a creative person by nature. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I was like a computer engineer, like because it's more of like it's higher. You know what I mean? It's like more set income, but it's like, oh, I missed the boat on that. I'm more of like, I'm gonna get my kids more into that though. But I'm more like creative and I just like that stuff. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I wish I could say I'm working on something, but I'm not yet.
Okay, so you have access to a lot of things and you have an amazing, sweet husband. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna say this, but
Yeah.
I see like beauty, wellness, like you need to like do something with like whether skincare or branding, like aside from acting and producing, I'm like, I can just see you blowing up that world of just
What?
skincare.
Like making something?
Well, I can just see because you're so eloquent and you have the resources, whether it's skincare, whether it's some sort of anti-aging wand, like
Mhm.
something, some sort of like thing where it mixes beauty and grace because you're so elegant and feminine. I just see, or if it's a woman's fashion line, I don't know. I just see like a whole little Nicole Weider line of goodness, right? You're
I
just a
like that.
woman's woman.
I like that. Well, it's funny because I have thought about creating something like being an entrepreneur because I do have that side of me also. And so I'm open right now. I have to like take time to like really sit down and journal and figure out like what do I want to create? What do I want to spend time on? Because anything we do takes time,
That's
and
right.
when I want to do well. So I want to just take my time and figure out exactly what I want to do and make sure it helps someone and it's valuable. So we'll see. I'm not sure, but I thank you for that idea. I do think that's a fun idea. Yeah.
Yes, and also more projects to come. I want you to be able to get your projects to be out there because you are a good actress and you are gorgeous and you have
You
a
are too.
oh, thank you. You have a presence about you. And yeah,
Thank
I mean, you are still healing. Like you said, you just finished radiation. So
you.
first and foremost, I don't want you to feel pressure. I say heal, enjoy those babies.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
and you have the best years ahead of you. I'm telling you, when you hit
I love
40,
that. I believe that. And your
you really
40s have been great. You're inspiring to me. So it's like I'm not afraid. That's one thing is fighting cancer. It's like you're not afraid of getting older. You're just so blessed and so thankful. So I'm like I'm not afraid. I'm excited for the future now. So I think that's really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll feel better than ever. I feel like I find that I feel better than I did in my 20s because when you get older, you have to take better care of yourself. You just do. You need
Yes.
to focus on your sleep, your hydration, all the things. And so, yeah, you really have the best seasons ahead of you. And
Oh, I think
please
so.
let me know when you come back to LA.
I will.
We need to do lunch.
I would love
And
to.
where can we find you if people want to find you and support you with Project Inspired or social media?
Um,
Website?
I would love to see you in LA. I would say my main platform I post on is Instagram. I'm gonna be posting more on TikTok, but it's just takes time, But I would say mostly
No.
Instagram. Yeah, Nicole Weider on there, and yeah. But it was so amazing talking with you, and I hope to see you again soon. This was so fun.
Likewise, I can't wait. And we need to do a wellness beauty
We
hack.
do. I would love that. I have so much to share about that. We should do that. That'd be so fun.
Let's do it and give those babies hugs for me. They're so
Thank you,
gorgeous.
Andrea. Thank you so much. I will.